Hey everyone, welcome to the practice lesson of section 4 of the course. We will create a nice animation using the text layers and the shape layers too. So first, let's create a new composition. It can be black or white. Now let's create a new layer, solid layer. This solid layer, we can make it a very dark blue, like this one. For example, click OK. Perfect. And now let's rename this as background. Now let's create a new text layer. Go to Layer, New, and select Text Layer. Now on this text layer, we will write practice lesson. Now if you take a closer look, this text has a stroke. So I don't want any stroke here, so I'm going to open this and I'm going to click on the stroke and click on no stroke color. Alright. Now this font is cool, this Bemio font. You can use any font that you want. Let's align this on the align window, align this to the middle. Perfect. Now let's open this practice lesson properties. Let's open the text and let's go to the animate settings and click on this button. Now select the position here and we have the range selector and the position property. So open the range selector and click here on the start to create a keyframe, and now on this second, 2 seconds later, we will create a new keyframe here on 100%. Now instead of the range selector, go to the position setting and create a new keyframe here on the beginning of the animation, and let's change the position to the top outside of the composition. So now when we hit play, this will happen. The letters will fall like this. Now let's add some blur by clicking here on this icon, the motion blur, and remember to click on this button here, and now the letters has some kind of blur, which is a really nice effect. Alright, now let's add some more animation by clicking Add, Property, and now let's select some rotation. Now for the rotation, let's add some 135 on the degrees, and they will come like this. But look at what is happening here. Now we can see some more of this because they rotated, and now we can see here on the beginning a little of the letters. So we have to change that, and let's go to the position and let's make them farther to the top, and now we're good. Alright, here you can see how the letters rotate and end up at the original position. So that's pretty cool. Finally, let's add some more property. Let's add some scale, and on the beginning the scale will be 0. Let's type it 0. So they will go from 0 to 100% here. Alright, now that's it for the animation of the letters. Now I want to add some lines into these letters. So let's create a new shape layer, and we're going to create a very thin rectangle that goes from the beginning to the end of our sentence, like this. And let's change the fill to white. Let's move it a little to the bottom. Alright, now duplicate this layer with Ctrl and D, and let's move this to the top. So it should be like this. Of course, we have to animate these shapes, because otherwise they will be like this, and I don't want that. I want them to come one from the right to the left and the other one from the left to the right. So when the letters hit here, when the letters end the transition, that happens here, we can start to see the shapes. So let's begin with the top one. Open the position settings and create a keyframe here, and then half a second later create another keyframe. So the first keyframe for the shape, it should be to the far right, so that when it comes, it goes like this. Perfect. Now let's add some blur, motion blur. Perfect. So now it looks exactly like the letters. Now let's do the same for this one. Open the position. They should come in at the same time. So create a keyframe here and another one exactly where the other one is. Now for the first keyframe of the bottom shape, it should be over here. Now remember to turn on the blur so they get here at the same time. Perfect. Now it's time to create an adjustment layers, because I want when the word is finished, like this little title, I want it to distort a little to create effect. Maybe we could use the ripple effect to create something nice looking, and then stop. So we need to create an adjustment layer because it's easier, because we just have to add the effect to the adjustment layers, and this will affect everything that is underneath this adjustment layer. So with the adjustment layer selected, go to Effect and select Distort. Now select Ripple. Now make sure that the adjustment layer begins exactly when these lines appear, like this, maybe half a second later. To do that, just select your adjustment layer and type the closing bracket on your keyboard. So it will go like this. Alright, now we have the ripple effect that acts like this. If we open the radius, you can see how it creates some ripple effect, which is really nice. And we can choose the wave speed. So let's play with this. First, create a keyframe here. Let's go to the settings here of the effects, open the effects, ripple, and now create a keyframe here for the radius, and then half a second later make it, could be, let's see, around 50. Alright, so it will go like this. It will create a nice keyframe, a nice effect here, a ripple effect. We can change the wave width like that, so that we don't have so much waves here, but only a few bigger waves. Exactly. Now the lines appear, the effect goes like this. Maybe this effect could be closer to these other keyframes, not so much, like this, and then this stops. Click here and make the radius 0, so that we don't have any ripples anymore. So you can see how they go from 0, they start waving, and they stop here. We could even change this keyframe to this point, to the middle between the two of them, so that it's smoother, like this, and then goes back to 0. Let's take a look at how it looks. We have the text layer, then the shape layers, and then the adjustment layer acts above them all. So that's it for this practice lesson. Congratulations on reaching to this point. You just created your first animation using the kinds of layers of After Effects. So let's continue to the next section.